Welcome to the sunny shores of Cape Cod. It's another beautiful night for baseball, and the Bourne Braves are back in action.
Cape Cod Baseball League, where the best players from across the country come together and square off against one another.
A twin bill in Bourne can only mean one thing. It's a double feature of Tomahawk Talk, episodes 12 and 13. Here's the lineup: Chris Jones, Troy Lynch, Liam Sullivan. I'm Kerry Crowley. The Braves take game one today by a final score of 6-3, and we'll start with that. The positives: Bourne moved into second place. Chris, again, the Braves got down and had to come from behind from the fifth straight game. Timely hits for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Reed Humphreys and Jacob Robson.
Huge double in the right center field gap for Humphreys, and then Robson just yanked the ball down the line. We saw him go to the opposite field prior in the game, and then yanked it. 2 runs there. Good insurance. Max McDowell had a RBI single with 2 outs, so 2-out hitting once again, able to pick up the victory in game 1.
3 of the 6 runs in game 1 came with 2 outs on the scoreboard. And Liam, the pitching staff really locked it down after Keegan Aiken allowed a few runs early. Brian Baker came in, was outstanding, 10 up, 10 down. And then you see Austin Conway come in, get the save for the second time this season, and you got a chance to catch up with Baker.
Yeah, Baker said that his fastball was working really, really well tonight, and he also threw his slider with a lot of success, able to punch out a couple guys here and there, and he feels comfortable. I mean, he is a starter at school, but he is working on the reliever mentality and being ready at any minute.
Troy, you had a chance to catch up with Reed Humphreys after his 3rd multi-hit game in a row. That was game 1. What did Reed have to say about what's working for him at the plate right now?
It's just it's a casual game for him. You know, once you're hot, you're hot. And he said you're gonna have 4 for 4 games, and then you're gonna have 0 for 4 games. That's just baseball. When you lose some, you just gotta forget it. But when you're hot, you gotta kind of keep the streak going as long as you can. Unfortunately, you couldn't do that, opposed by some very great Orleans pitching in the second game. But the first game, have yourself a game, Reed Humphreys.
Now it's time for episode 13, and we're joined by friends of the show, Ryan Bapalukas, Nate Gatter, the Orleans Firebirds broadcasters. And guys, game 2 is primarily Orleans, so I'll turn things over to you. Mitchell Jordan, for the 3rd consecutive start, was stellar. How was he able to corral this Bourne Braves lineup and just set him down in order?
For Mitchell Jordan, it's all about his control. He's able to command 3 pitches. That fastball is going to be low 90s, 91, 92. The slider has got good late movement on it, and the changeup has good movement on it as well. He's not going to overpower anybody, but he can command 3 pitches, which is what he's been able to do so far this season. 15 innings pitched, no runs he's allowed.
And Nate, the Firebirds were hitless through 5 innings, and then all of a sudden they break open for a 3-spot. Austin Miller coming up with the big 2-out, 2-run single up the middle, and it was just a big hit for the Firebirds at that point. How was he able to break it through?
Well, it's especially huge because Miller had been struggling and the Firebirds as a whole had been struggling. And usually Orleans scores a lot of runs or not very many. It's a feast or famine kind of thing for Orleans offensively. And the Firebirds get themselves into a lot of trouble when they are having struggles early on in the game. They tend to take really big swings at the plate, swing at a lot of bad pitches, and get themselves into even worse situations. So to see Austin Miller have a simple approach, just try to hit a ground ball right back up the middle, not doing too much, that's exactly what the Firebirds need to be doing when they're having a little trouble against a good pitching staff.
Now, before we go rapid fire for our player of the game picks, Chris, there is one positive worth pointing out from game 2 for the Bourne Braves, and that was Nick Jensen-Clagg. Threw 4 no-hit innings, got out 2 bases-loaded jams, struck out 8. He leads the Cape Cod League with 16 strikeouts.
I mean, that changeup, it's filthy. You couple that with the breaking ball along with the fastball. We talked about it on the broadcast. He's got 3 out pitches to go for the strikeouts. So he's been pounding the strike zone, doesn't fall behind the count a lot, and has been using that changeup, getting hitters to go out in front of it. So he's been excellent. He's been a big surprise for us.
We'll go clockwise for our players of the game picks. The one rule, no Firebirds. Troy, you start.
I'm going to go with the 2 Mississippi State players, Jacob Robson.
There's 6 of us.
You're taking
2 off the board?
You said it earlier.
Can we all do 2 players now? Or is it
I mean, you can do 2 players if you want, but I mean, they were fantastic in the first place, or in the first game, and that triple by Jacob Robson was phenomenal. Put them in the lead, and then the Firebirds could not come back. That was the dagger.
Chris?
I'm going to go with Garzillo. He had a multi-hit game in game 1. I believe he scored 2 runs in that game as well, so I'll try not to go with the obvious choices and to go with Garzillo.
Ryan?
I'm going to go with Harvey Shapiro, the manager of the Bourne Braves, for getting his lineup out at least 45 minutes prior to each game. It made prep so much easier than it did on opening night.
For those unaware, Kelly Nicholson, the Firebirds manager, tweets his lineup out and did so for both games
both
today
games.
around 8:30 this morning. A blessing for broadcasters throughout the Cape League. So yes, Harvey was a blessing for all of us today. Nate?
I'm going to follow in a similar vein to Ryan, and I'm going to go with Bob, the official scorer. It was an unbelievable pick. It was a difficult game.
What are you doing?
Game 2 especially was difficult. There were a lot of errors to sort out, difficult situations. 3 errors for Bourne, 2 errors for Orleans. There were some errors going around in game 1 too. I can't imagine Bob has had a much more difficult game official scoring here on the Cape League, and he made us proud.
Shout out to Bob.
Let's go. Liam, how do you follow that up?
I'm gonna go with the pitcher, Brian Baker. He was really great out of the pen, and he has been the past couple appearances, and something that's a good sign moving forward for the Braves.
I'll take the obvious pick because I don't want to have to apologize to friends and family, but Nick Jensen-Clagg, after not getting drafted after his junior season, has been stellar since arriving for the Braves. First game on Tuesday, and since then, the Braves have gone 5-1. Today, the first loss that he's seen as a Brave, he throws 4 no-hit innings, gets out of 2 bases-loaded jams. I've said it enough. Nick Jensen-Clagg, 16 strikeouts, and that's a wrap for us here from Durham Park. The Braves take Game 1 by a final score of 6-3. The Braves lose Game 2 to the Firebirds by a final score of 3-0. For Ryan Bafalukas, Nate Gatter, and our original Tomahawk Talk crew, I'm Kerry Crowley, signing off from Durham Park. The Braves, as it currently stands at this filming, second place in the West Division.
And makes the catch for the final out of the ball game. Ball game over. Bravos win.
Fastball off the outside corner, gets away from the catcher Logan Ice. Here comes Garcillo. He scores the winning run. The Braves take it 4-3 on